Hello, everybody. Welcome to Monday, November 9th, 2020. It's a great day to be a junior Potter. And here's our video for Monday. Remember, always, first thing, check out our bell ringers. The bell ringers this week are all going to be kind of similar. I'm going to give you a fact about each one of the phases, and you're going to have to correctly match up the phase to that fact. So that's what it is kind of going today. That's what it'll be like the rest of this week, matching up fact with phase. Now, before I get into the other stuff happening with class today, there's a couple of announcements that I'll do. The first thing is Wednesday this week is Veterans Day, so we have that off. So Veterans Day, it's a holiday, no school that day, so that means you will not be seeing the video on Wednesday there. Second thing, the movie day, which is November 24th, the day before we leave for Thanksgiving break. I got more of a schedule on that. We are going to do that. We, as the 7th grade, is going to the movies in the morning, and then in the afternoon would be our Leadership Academy little breakout sessions that we are going to be doing. So that's going to kind of be what that day is. I still don't have any idea of what the movie is going to be. It all depends on what the theater has versus what we can watch. It's not going to be a new release just because there's not too many of those actually out in the theaters. So it will be something from the past that they just end up having because, they have older movies from being a movie theater. So we're going through that and trying to figure out which movie would be best to show during that day. So more on that to come. Remember, if you have not, I guess this won't affect you guys too much except when you come back. If you have more than 3 LHIs, you cannot go. If you have more than 1 detention, you cannot go. We are 2 weeks into it. There's 2 weeks left because it's basically going to end next Friday is where we're going to cut off. It's a cutoff point with that, so that's kind of where we're looking at with things. So you got 2 more weeks to make sure you're getting all your work done and making sure to not be in trouble, really. So hopefully you're taking care of that since at your own house there. But make sure, the biggest thing with you guys out there is to make sure that you're keeping up with all your work. Reach out to us if you need any questions with that. The other thing that we talked about today was if there is a chance of going on a remote learning as the entire school, what that would look like. So let me kind of just bring that schedule up here. Essentially what we're going to attempt to do is there's no plan to go remote learning, but as you've kind of witnessed with some of the elementary schools, they've had to quarantine an entire grade level for 2 weeks. So if that ever happens to us, this is the kind of process that we're going to go through. We're going to keep a pretty much daily schedule intact. So there'll be a time where you're supposed to check in with first hour. There's a time where you're supposed to be checking in with second hour, third hour, fourth hour, etc. throughout your entire day. That way you're getting your instructions. You're able to ask us as your teacher any questions. It'll be like a little Google meeting. You'll pop in there. We'll take attendance. We'll go over what your instructions are. If there's a lesson, at the end of the lesson then, you'll be free to work on the assignment. And then if you have any questions during that time period, you can pop back into the Google Meet and ask that question. Or just stay in that Google Meet, and if there's anything happening, you can get them answered then. But essentially, there'll be a different one for each class period. You're now well trained in Schoology, so there shouldn't be any Schoology issues anymore. You know how all of us kind of work it, so there shouldn't be any issues with that. We might, in fact, try later on, maybe this week or next week, just setting up a Google Meet and having everybody join it just so that you've all experienced joining a Google Meet for this year, just so that there's no excuses whatsoever about that stuff happening. But this is just to keep you on a schedule because we don't want to take you out of the complete schedule. We're still having school even if we're quarantining, so just like you guys are quarantining right now, if the whole school had to quarantine, we are still doing classes. So you're still expected to do everything since we're all healthy just having to have to be self-quarantined out of the building at that point. So that's it. Like I said, there's no plan to go remote. This is just us as a school being proactive, since some of the other grade levels around have had that happen to them. It might be a thing that's out of our control at some point. So that's kind of our thoughts on the issue there. What we're doing today is that you're continuing your gift making process. If you did not go through the gift making video from last Friday, you need to 100% do that today. I, in fact, moved it over into the Monday folder so that you have those instructions ready to go again today. Because I'm not repeating all those instructions over and over again. I've already made a consolidated video that goes through and walks through the instructions for that. So check that out. It says Mitosis gift instructions on the video. You can pull that up and kind of watch me. I go over it. When I was going over it was second hour on Friday, so it's all the instructions that you would have heard in class. I do have a final process that I'll kind of show you here. So this is eventually what we're going to end up creating. This is one that I whipped up on Friday during class, one of the days, of the different phases. So you can kind of see it walking through the different phases. The third picture is kind of how it appears in our notes after each day. So you kind of have the different things happening in each one. So that's kind of our end goal. Remember, 3 pictures for each one. Your goal for today is to get 3 out of the 5 phases done. Now, if you want to get all 5 of them done, that's fine. But your goal today is to get 3 out of the 5 done. That's 9 pictures total. That is our chunk for today. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to email me. I am here ready and willing to answer any of your questions. So hope you're being well out there. Hope you're being safe, making smart decisions out there, keeping up with your work. And I'll hopefully see you back sooner rather than later. See ya.